So I want to talk about the economy here in China, what I've noticed, all right, living here in China. I've been living here in China for the past around 7 years, all right, 7 years. And one thing I've noticed is quite recently, all right, ever since lockdowns have been over, that deflation has really happened, all right, since 2022. People thought that reopening was going to be really good, but things got, I guess, good in certain aspects, but a lot more competitive, right? In other aspects, it got a lot more competitive, and deflation is quite apparent in a lot of like restaurant bills, for example. Before, when you go eat out, right, you pay X amount of money, but now I'm noticing that me in general, all right, eating about the same type of food in general, it's just being cheaper. Everything is cheaper, all right? Even the milk tea and beverages and drinks and everything, it's noticeably cheaper. And one thing we're noticing here in China is that high-end consumer spending has really dropped off quite a lot. So there used to be a lot of like high-end restaurants as well here in China that would cater to the mega rich. Their business has absolutely collapsed. All right, high-end hotels, super high-end hotels, their business is not doing too well. Anything where it's really expensive for the mega rich, either those guys are not really choosing to spend their money, or everybody's just being like, save on money. And I think that's the attitude that everybody sees right now. Everybody's like very pessimistic with the economy, and people are taking the approach like, oh, you just gotta save money, like everything's really tough outside, it's hard to earn money, and then like, don't do anything stupid, don't do anything rash, don't buy anything you're not supposed to buy. Online spending, same thing. I mean, like, JD and Baba, I know like some of you guys might be invested in these companies, so this might be a good, nice little bit of info, but they gotta like give out like subsidies for online shopping. How crazy is that? Like, think about it. You're doing online shopping in Amazon, and Amazon has to give you subsidies so that you buy stuff to encourage buying. That's how crazy it is, right? To encourage buying. Also, like another noticeable thing is on like delivery apps, Meituan. So that's the delivery app, and actually, there's a delivery guy that just went past my car, and delivery is a big business here in China. But you're also noticing that a lot of these restaurants, they have like super cheap deals subsidized by Meituan to like incentivize people to spend money. All right, people just aren't spending money. It's also very apparent with the housing collapse, all right, the real estate price collapse. It's just absolutely terrible what's going on with that. It's a natural phenomenon. I mean, like, real estate has been increasing for the past 20 years here in China, and that was, it never stopped going. If you invested in a business and you invested in real estate and you bought a house, your business becomes super successful, you earn a ton of money, you're still not going to earn as much money as the appreciation of real estate if you held it for like 5 years during the bull cycle of the Chinese real estate bubble. But now it's just to a certain situation where there's so many foreclosures. All right, people buy for example, in a lot of suburban, actually not so suburban, but like more like rural suburban cities, so districts that are like not inside Beijing, but on the outskirts of Beijing. All right, suburban cities, like for example, Yanjiao, like that kind of place. Like southern China, southern Beijing, or way up northeastern Beijing, those places, they used to have houses that cost, for example, 3 million RMB, but now those places are less than 1 million RMB for the same apartment in just a span of 3 years. All right, 3 years from 2021, since 2021, absolutely nuts. And the worst thing about this whole entire thing is the fact that people are so leveraged up with mortgages. All right, so civilians, they mortgage, they apply for home loan, and It's the whole entire place is mortgaged, so they might pay like $1 million in down payment and then get the $2 million in mortgage. So they own the bank $2 million, but now the home is worth less than $1 million. All right, less than $1 million. So their down payment is in the negative, and they own the bank $2 million. So that's stupid. But then the worst happens if you ever go delinquent. So if you miss a payment or anything like that, then you miss one payment, then the bank just automatically forecloses on your house and auctions it off. Whatever price is left, that money goes towards the bank to repay back the loan. So what ends up happening, so for example, that house used to be worth $3 million in 2021, now worth only $1 million in 2024, might get auctioned off for maybe only like 700K RMB. 700K RMB after all the handling fees and everything, and lawyer fees, because the bank is suing you essentially. You might have maybe like 550K. So 550K goes back towards paying the bank. You lose the house, right? You lose your down payment, all right? The house, 550K, goes back towards paying the loan, and then you still owe the bank $1.5 million. You heard that right. You lost the house, you lost your down payment, all right, and you still owe the bank $1.5 million. How crazy screwed up is that? And your credit is completely turned black. Like here in China, it's called blacklisted. You can't use any banking. You can't have any sort of online payments. You can't even ride the effing train or airplane. You can't do any of that. How crazy is that? You can't leave the country. You can't do anything. It's called blacklisted. So that's just the predicament of a lot of people here in China. And job cuts leads to this. How nuts is that? Down payment gone, 1 million down payment gone. You spend your life savings to get that down payment gone, and then house gone, and then you still owe the bank $1.5 million that you gotta slowly pay off over the rest of your life. So you're just basically trapped in debt hell. And there's no such thing as bankruptcy here in China. You can't just say file for bankruptcy and get those loans written off or anything like that. No, that debt is with you for life. All right, and it gets passed on to your kids. If you have kids, it gets passed on to your kids. So that's how stupid it is, this whole entire situation here in China. And a lot of people are in that predicament. All right, they lose their job and that happens. They can't muster up the money for their monthly mortgage payments, and that's eventually what goes on. And it's very unfortunate. And it just creates a more downward spiral. Like when the house gets auctioned off and it gets sold at that price point of 700 or 600K, then that's one less buyer for that area, and then that also decreases the housing price of that area further. So it's just a pretty tough situation, and everybody is aware of this here in China. All right, they know that this is happening. So that's why they're very careful about spending a lot of money. Now, what does this mean for like high-end consumers, like high-end car buyers, like maybe NIO customers, etc.? Well, when it comes to buying a car, if they have that requirement, they have that need, they're still going to buy the car, all right? But people are more sensitive to pricing right now because it's just everybody wants to save money. They want to save as much as they can because they have a very pessimistic outlook of the economy. So of course, that's why NIO had to do a price cut back in June of last year, and then that's also why right now you're seeing NIO having to give out so many incentive in order to push out sales. So it's a tough situation, and until like something major happens, it looks like it's gonna be like this for a while. All right, it doesn't seem like it's gonna get better. All right, but we have fallen quite a lot. All right, the deflation, the pricing, everything has fallen quite a lot. So hopefully things will get better in maybe the next 5 years or maybe next 10 years. So But yeah, that's the wrap up of the current situation in China from my perspective. All right. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.